We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, boys and girls. What's going on? It is Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. You are tuned in to the Drive-In Speaker Box, the best in movie reviews and all sorts of fun Hollywood news and our opinions. I'm your host, the boom operator, Bo.
I'm the grip, Slick Doggy.
And, thanks for tuning in. We are back again this week. We are here. The dinosaur movie has been unleashed, and we're going to talk about it. So, buckle up. Hey, thanks for the resub, Vince. You've been 11 months subscribed.
Legend.
What a legend. A year of the speaker box in your home for a low price of however much a sub is. And does it change? I don't even...
I think it's approximately $5.
$5. There you go. Dina says, God help us. Yes, God help us all. And I apologize in advance. Like I disassembled the studio because I went to Denver this weekend and took my cameras with me, and I swapped the two so that we get some autofocus. But one of the cool things that I guess, since this one's going to be autofocusing all night, is I can get the T-Rex and go, and it's going to autofocus right like that, and it's going to look really cool, and that's going to be like our thumbnail or something.
I think on that T-Rex, if you open its mouth, doesn't it make
Does
noise?
it still have batteries? I don't know. Let's try.
Yeah. Also, you can feed it because it has just like a full-on...
You can deep throat. Oh, my God.
Wow,
It goes down there.
Yeah, you empty its belly so you can feed it prey and then recollect them
What
later.
kind of store did you get this at?
Wally World.
Okay, it's got a pretty deep orifice for a Wally World toy. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Jurassic World Dominion tonight. So
almost 3D, kind of like that movie, which... I like going to the late shows, and last time I fell for it on accident, bought a 3D ticket for whatever dumbass movie. Oh, Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. And then this one, I was like, oh, late show. And I was like, oh, wait, 3D. Don't, Don't want that.
Don't let it hit you. But I'm gonna have a little sippy of tequila before we get started. Would you like one to join?
Yeah, let's
Let's do it. Because this movie requires something to talk about it. So cheers to you guys. Drive-In Speaker Box. We're gonna be talking Jurassic World Dominion tonight. We saw it. Brought to you by Hornito Silver. There you go. Cheers. Cheers to everybody out there. Cheers, Dina. Cheers, Vince. Before we really jump into this review, because I feel like we're going to be talking about this for a big portion of the show.
There's probably a lot to talk about. I was going to say unpack, and I was like, there's not a lot to unpack. A lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about, not much to unpack. And as Vince stated our title, he says, this is a true, you guys saw it, so you didn't have to. That's the name of today's show.
Don't skip ahead. Don't give spoilers for the review that we have planned.
So we're gonna be breaking it down for you. But let's talk about a little bit of news. A lot of extended trailers happened. Logan says, here's to deep fisting some dinos. Yes.
Poor T-Rex.
Now we know. We saw this movie, and something I wanted to mention, and this isn't like news or anything, but there was an extended trailer to Thor: Love and Thunder. There was an extended trailer to Nope. There was an extended trailer to Bullet Train.
All sorts of new trailers for movies that have been running trailers forever.
And I hated them. They were
so the Bullet Train. Trailer,
made me not want to see the movie.
It gave a lot more away about the movie.
Yeah.
And then the Nope trailer
gave everything away.
Everything. And it was family-friendly version of the trailer. It had like happy music, and it made it where it doesn't look terrifying or thrillery at all.
And here's the thing, it's like Jordan Peele, horror guy known for, he's the new Shyamalan, whatever. And then this trailer comes out, and it's like mysterious and spooky, and you're like, what's gonna happen? There's a lady with a weird mouth face and like a a hand. You're like, oh gosh, what's it gonna be? Dark terror. And then in this one, it's like aliens. Here's a UFO.
They've given away the alien angle the whole time, but this time you get to see it. You get to see everything.
In
and
the
they're
trailer?
Like, hey, there's a cloud that doesn't move. Let's point cameras at it so we can become rich. There's
like
your movie plot.
They had I can never remember his name, but you don't see him very often. But I love this guy. He was the bad guy in The Crow. Michael Wincott. You may not know this name, but you know that voice. Like he's always this guy.
He's like the ornery cinematographer that they're like, you're going to be the guy to catch the image.
Yeah, Michael Wincott he always plays this guy. And he's just got like this, as if Tom Waits and gosh, how am I drawing a blank on the mustache?
Tom Selleck?
No, Roadhouse.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. It's like Sam Elliott and Tom Waits like had a voice baby, and it was Michael Wincott, and it's just like a mouthful of gravel. I mean, it's hard for me to do that one. Thanks, Michael Wincott.
Shit, Vince. Wow. Wow. You see that?
Throwing shade at the Crow?
No, he said the bad guy on the Crow was the prop manager.
Yeah, I know. He's throwing shade at the death of Brandon Lee. Man, yeah, that he was the true villain in The Crow. Sad times. Pour one out for Brandon Lee. But anyway, these trailers are too much. You know, the Thor trailer, and yeah, just like. And this was funny because, you know, we've talked about this before. It's just like the new Marvel, the new Thor, the Asgardians of the Galaxy formula is like dick and fart and sex jokes. And then it was like, no, not this one. This is going to be wow, wacky, awesome adventure. And then the whole trailer was just like, here's Thor. Here's Thor's penis. Here's Thor. People making like looking and oogling and ogling at Thor's penis. And here's an alien that farts. And
yeah, I mean, this version of the trailer's been out for 2 or 3 weeks now. But it's getting more out there, I guess, on being on big time movies. But it comes out next month?
Yeah, it's coming out
or
really
later
soon.
This month?
But I don't like these extended trailers, and we've talked about it on the show. It's like they give away too much of the movie.
The Nope one definitely ruined it. But the new Black Adam trailer.
Well, that was fresh. That was a new.
Yeah, because, hey,
thanks, Knox.
But before we just got like the little peek of him and getting like the guys in his tomb or whatever shooting him, and then it being like, well, Black Adam, The Rock.
He's a good guy, except
but yeah, since when is Black Adam a good guy? I don't know what iteration.
They're like, well, we can't make The Rock a bad guy, so we got to make this character kind of a good guy.
But it's like, what iteration of DC Comics has Black Adam ever been a good guy to anybody except for the people of his like country, planet, whatever, alternate universe, Egypt place thing. But other than that, where he's like their ruler and he's only a good guy to them because he's like in charge and he don't let anyone mess with his stuff.
Yeah.
This time they're just like, oh, The Rock, and they're like, good guys don't kill people, and he's like,
I do,
and then just like punts a dude into the ocean.
And every like MAGA gun guy is like, yeah, that's my kind of hero.
So on the previous trailer, you got to see a little bit of Hawkman, you got to see a touch of Atom Smasher, and a little bit of Dr. Fate. But this time you got to see more Atom Smasher, a little bit more of the Hawk people, which I can't remember the proper name of. Someone's going to correct me. It starts with TH. I can't remember. Sorry.
We can't remember all of it.
You got to see more than one Hawk person because they were different races and things. So you have all of the Hawk people maybe showing up. So I guess they're going to have, instead of Hawkman and Hawkgirl being reincarnated spirits of Egyptians, Thanagarians. Thanks, Sam. Instead of them being reincarnated Egyptian souls or whatever it is, where they're always in love and they have to find each other and they have the Hawk powers. This time they are the Thanagarian alien race, is how it seems like it's going to be. So that could be rad. And Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate should be pretty cool.
I think that's going to be cool.
I wonder how they're going to tie it into things like Suicide Squad and
Shazam.
Well, Shazam's easy. They have to tie it in.
I know, but the stylistically, how do they?
But since Black Adam's taking day modern and he's going to be a hero alongside Dr. Fate and Atom Smasher,
well, then how do they pit him against Shazam?
How are they going to make him against Shazam? Yeah, exactly.
You know, and how are they going to deal with all those jokes? I mean, I guess Rock is good at, you know,
Shazam's the name of the wizard, so Captain Marvel, but people do call Captain Marvel.
Is Kevin
Shazam.
Hart going to be in the one to bridge the comedy, the world, so that like Black Adam will have littler Black Adam, or Blacker Adam, and it's Kevin Hart, and he comes, come in, and he's, man, and he shoots like little lightning, and they make fun of his little lightning, and Rock goes, you scamp, and then he screams a lot. That's probably going to be it.
Sam says that Black Adam became a good guy for about a year, and even joined as a member of the Marvel family, like the Captain Marvel family that you saw at the end of the Shazam movie.
Are they gonna? Okay. They're just gonna find the one.
Is that New 52 stuff? I don't know.
They're gonna pick the one. They go this one where he's a good guy, where we can sell toys.
Yeah, I haven't read comics
Selling
in
toys.
16 years. Oh, I'm old.
Yes, we're both old. Welcome to the Drive-In Speaker Box, where our age is what shows that we're right about reviewing movies.
13 years. It's been 13. I've read.
Speaking of age, I remember, being young. I remember what that was like, and people that review movies now, it's all opinion based. And one of the things that if you're a new viewer or listener to the Drive-In Speaker Box, if you're a listener, if you just subscribe to this podcast and you're wondering what we're referencing when we say, hey, thanks for the sub, this is a live stream. We do not edit this. It is live. It is free form. It's every Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.
We are on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.
And you can participate. You can jump in on this and get a part of those actions and shenanigans. But the point that I'm trying to make is we've been doing this a really long time. And, I see people on these, hey, thanks, Bottle Rocket, for the sub, on these different websites that are reviewing movies, and they're just like, I wasn't old enough for the first Jurassic Park, therefore I've never seen it. And it's like, well, I wasn't born for a lot of things that I've seen to have frame of reference for things that I watch now. Like, that's what reviewing movies about.
My absolute favorite film is Stalag 17, and it's from the 50s.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If you want to dedicate a big portion of wasting your life into ruining or reviewing movies like we have, then you gotta watch these movies. You can't just read the wiki articles. You see this book back here, this real book that's on our real shelf with real things that people don't believe is real. It's called 1001 Movies You Need to See Before You Die. I think that book was published in like the 90s or the early 2000s, and I have made my way heavily through that book. It is insane how many movies of that I've watched. And many of them came out in the 40s and 50s and 60s. When I didn't come out then, I didn't come out until the 80s. And, so I watched all these movies. And it's important to watch movies that exist outside of your timeline. And that's what we try to bring you here on the Drive-In Speaker Box is perspectives from outside your timeline and in your timeline and your universes and multiverses, and that's what we do. Dina says, that sounds insane. I don't consume media not created in my lifetime. You would be surprised how many times I hear that from people. They're like, that was before my time. And it's like, well, most of recorded human history was before your time. It doesn't mean it's not important. As Jurassic World taught us, we are just a blip on the life timeline of it finds a way. Vince says, weird how that book has a crystal skull. So this book, actually, funny story. This book, fun facts, it says it's 1001 movies to see before you die. And on the cover, everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's Indiana Jones, right? And you're like, yeah, you should see Indiana Jones before you die. You should see. And
there's about to be some disagreement on the show every time it comes up.
Here's the funny thing about this book is on the cover, it's like, yeah, you need to see Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they have Indiana Jones on the cover. But that image is from Temple of Doom, which is not listed in this book, by the way, and it's also an amazing film. But they use the iconic picture of Temple of Doom, proving again that Temple of Doom is way more underrated than it should be.
You're just a short round fan, bro.
I am a all-round fan. I am a tall
Dan Aykroyd hurdles them into a Japanese plane, and then he's like, fumbled it again, and then they...
From Club Obi-Wan.
And everyone talks about the stupid refrigerator and Crystal Skull surviving the nuke. Originally, in Temple of Doom, they survive a fall of thousands and thousands of feet by riding a inflatable raft.
It was maybe 1,000.
Yeah, okay.
Just one.
Too many feet from a plane because...
Onto like a snow slope.
The Japanese pilot guy's like, and then like they jump off after they knock
Mongolian.
After they jump... No, they were Japanese because they were in China. They were taken over.
Going... The red line. Anyway.
On the map, but they jump out the plane and leave Indy and short round to die and all that stuff, but then they hop out in the raft and it floats and they go, whoa, and then they hit the snow and it's okay, and then they just slide down the mountain. That was the original Nuke Fridge.
It was awesome.
No, it was
wasn't
dumb.
CGI.
It was dumb af. Right after you see friggin' Dan Aykroyd.
Why does it always got to be snakes? And, I mean, this is an apropos conversation leading up to Jurassic World Dominion, because there was a lot of Indiana Jones in Jurassic World Dominion. There was hat references. There was escapes. There was torches. There was lines straight out of Indiana Jones.
Hey, you remember how Spielberg directed them dinosaurs? Let's do that.
Let's just do Spielberg
Let's
stuff.
do Spielberg. We're getting into the review already. We can't do that. There was more movie
More
news.
news.
Getting away from young people stuff, talking about old people stuff.
Why does it always got to be bugs?
Something tragic.
To die.
That we lost someone this week, and the name might not ring a bell in it, but if you saw him, it definitely would. Philip Baker Hall died at 90.
He was old.
He's been in the movie film industry since 70.
Yeah.
And you've seen him in something. He was in Cheers, Murder, She Wrote, Family Ties, MASH, Good Times, Emergency, General Hospital, Benson, Matlock, Seinfeld for several episodes.
He was an up-and-comer for a really long time.
Yeah, he's one of Bo's up-and-comers. He was the commissioner in Ghostbusters 2, which they just announced that they're doing an animated movie of. He was in the...
Wait, an animated Ghostbusters 2?
Animated Ghostbusters movie.
Okay.
He was the commissioner... Or he was in The Rock. He was in Air Force One. Some pretty epic 90s action movies, along with Indiana Jones there in Air Force One as President James Marshall. Get off my plane, and just kicks Gary Oldman right off there. Yeah, you didn't even know that was Gary Oldman until I told you. You're welcome.
That's why he's such a good actor.
That's why he's Gary Oldman, yeah. He was in Boogie Nights, and what I most remember him from, because it's probably where he got the most screen time, and what you'll probably most remember him from.
Bottle Rocket says Magnolia and Hard 8.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was in everything.
Yep.
But he was the commissioner that yelled at them in Rush Hour.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was in Rush Hour.
The captain. He was the captain in Rush Hour, yeah.
He's always an angry captain.
Yeah, because this actor, if you look him up, Philip Baker Hall, he's always the curmudgeon dude, like in everything. And if you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that dude, curmudgeon-y
He was
for sure.
always. I mean,
like if a production was like, we need someone curmudgeon-y, but that you can kind of be like, I mean, he's just a grandpa.
They want someone that's angry but still has the facial friendly bags of an old man. His face just looks friendly, but he's still a curmudgeonly asshole. Yeah. He's got the granddad look, but the anger of an abusive granddad, I guess.
Yeah, he was in Rush Hour and Rush Hour 3. For some reason, not in Rush Hour 2. But talking about sequels, a couple of sequels got some news too. Spiderverse 2, they announced the villain. It's going to be the Spot. If that means something to you, there you go. I don't know. Haven't read comics in 13 years. Never liked the Ultimate Universe. Hated everything about Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimates was cool for Ultimates 1 and 2. Ultimates 3, and Jeff Loeb ruined everything. But not his fault. His son, committed suicide. It was a messed up deal. It changed who he was. He wasn't good at comics, but that's neither here nor there. Knives Out 2.
Which doesn't involve knives. It involves onions.
Yeah, it has a new title, Glass Onion. So there you
Which
go.
I think is okay.
That might be
I'm
of
glad that
interest.
they didn't call it Knives Out 2. Let's take this detective story on. Honestly, I didn't like Knives Out as much as everybody else did. I
did a review on it on the show.
We did. You can go back to whatever year that was, and it's probably out there anyway on our deal. But Knives Out, I just didn't think it was as good of a whodunit as everybody thinks. And it's Ryan Johnson trying to do classic Ryan Johnson, and I just think he was trying to out Ryan Johnson himself, and I think he has moved past his old days of being really interesting, and I don't know. When you try to jump your own shark and you collapse under the weight of your own celebrity, it's I don't know. But I don't know. I'm gonna see it. gonna see it. I'm gonna see.
I still, that reminds me. I still need to see Death on the Nile. I never got to see it when it was in theaters.
It's good.
Yeah, this way you did a review of it too.
Good. I hated the color temperature of the lights, but that's just me.
No, I know. I remember. I remember you like, 100 years ago in the lights.
There was no 5,000 degree color temperature
no,
LED light bulbs on the Nile.
It's weird. You know what though? Going back to Marvel for a second, since we talked about Spider-Man, they have found a director for Thunderbolts. How are they going to make a Thunderbolts movie?
Wait, are we talking about like the puppet ones?
No, Thunderbolts is the
Thunderbolts are Go, or is that a different Thunders?
Thunderbolts is the evil Avengers.
Thunderbirds. I'm thinking Thunderbirds.
In Marvel, Thunderbolts is the evil Avengers led by Norman Osborn, most famously.
Okay, so we've already had him.
Now, but Clint Barton at a point in time was part of Thunderbolts, so I can see that they would bring Hawkeye into it and stuff, because Hawkeye wasn't always a good guy. He started out as a villain, and then
I guess Jeremy Renner is one of the more affordable Avengers, and because he doesn't need a lot of CGI, and I guess he doesn't have any other things going on in his career. So yeah, that makes sense.
He's a singer. People like him. He might have stuff going on.
I'm a singer, and people like me. His daily affirmations.
I don't know how Thunderbolts is going to work when they have like the villain squad. It's going to end up being like Suicide Squad, except probably not as campy. I mean, you got to make it evil. I don't know how it's going to work.
Well, and I mean that's the thing is evil is good, baby. Like that's what we
Black Adam.
It's just we're happy.
He's charismatic rock. Just gonna
be super fun. Everybody likes it. It's good times. Vince says, speaking of reviews, he couldn't wait for Grip, and my mom told me that she loved the new Downton Abbey movie, and quoting her, she said she cried her ass out. That sounds like a medical problem.
I can't get my fiance to go with me to movies, and turns out Crimes of the Future was released unannounced last week, so it was something that I had to go watch. We both went and watched that. She absolutely loved it because she likes that whole Cronenberg stuff, and you had a little bit of Giger in there, and that just spiced it up to her exact palette of movie, perfect consumption. She loved it, and I thought it was fun. And then this week, I mean, Jurassic World, and prior to that, we had Top Gun.
Tyler said on YouTube, he said he got to see RRR this weekend, and it was amazing. It was playing here for like a hot second. I don't think it's playing now that we've got Jurassic World. It kind of shoved everything out of our theaters.
No, RRR was the Hindi movie that I talked about.
But is it still playing at our AMC?
No, it was on Netflix.
Oh, on Netflix.
Yeah,
okay, because
it
was playing at a theater around.
I'm sure it probably was. Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing. It is good. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, for sure. Indian cinema is fantastic. They give you everything. They're like, heard you like movies. Here's everything movies.
And unlike movies like Jurassic World, where they try to give you everything and it's too much, it works.
Yeah, Indian movies make it work.
Somehow.
But I would like to see all of the Downton Abbey movies at some point, I guess. I just need to have time to sit and watch Downton Abbey and have someone that knows it, so they can go, oh, this is important because of this. Oh, look at Maggie Smith, she's cool because of this. So I'll, at some point maybe we'll see. All
right. Well, do we want to just get into? You got one more bit of news?
I got one more thing that might be interesting to you. Sarah Polley from Baron Munchausen has released a book, Run Towards the Danger, and apparently she
does not paint Terry Gilliam in a good light.
Yeah, she was not a fan of working on that movie. She was a huge Monty Python fan as a kid. She sang their songs and talent shows and all this stuff, and she was beyond stoked to work with a member of Monty Python, and it turned out it was awful.
Terry Gilliam's genius sometimes requires
almost killing children with underwater explosives and things like that. And Eric Idle's like,
but that's why it's so cool.
It's a weird movie, bro.
Dude, Baron Munchausen is a great movie.
It's a strange one, though.
It is an amazing movie.
And apparently they tried to kill Eric Idle and this little girl in this movie, and now she has a book out, and she's reached out to Terry Gilliam before, and he's been like, oh, yeah, okay, some of the stunts were a bit much, my bad. But also, I'm gonna adamantly defend everything. And
Well, yeah, and as Dina said, she's like, "Oh no, we all know Terry is a goddamn asshole." Yes, he is an asshole.
well, apparently he's making another
he's
movie
a historic asshole
with a child, and she reached out to him and be like, "Hey, as a kid that worked on one of your films, please don't be like this." And he's like, "Oh, please get fucked."
Yeah, he's like, "You want to be in this movie or not?" Like, I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Sam coming in with the Twilight Zone.
They could be, Sam, but at least he didn't actually kill a kid like John Landis. Oof. But I mean, the thing about like the Jackie Chans of the world and the Tom Cruises of the world.
Do that anymore.
I mean, like flying in jet planes is not something that Hollywood really does. That's Tom Cruise going, "God damn it, I'm gonna fly this jet plane," and they're like, "No, Tom, you really?" And he goes, "Get up, get fucked." And like he does,
just like in the movie at the beginning of the movie, he's like, "I'm gonna fly this plane." They're like, "No, you can't, because Ed Harris is on his way to be Ed Harris."
And that's like the
just
studios
angry.
going, "Mr. Cruz, you can't get in an airplane." But there is something like that's what makes some of those movies so engaging. Is okay, maybe a kid almost died, but they didn't, and it made for some really insane, intense cinema on screen. There are really amazing, famous things on screen that weren't filmed with the most wholesome intent, and but still became iconic pieces of film and cinema. And I love Terry Gilliam. I know he's an asshole. He makes some incredible movies. It's sometimes art is hard, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But we'll, whatever. We got to talk about what's coming out in theaters this weekend, because there is a new weekend coming, and it's got another big blockbuster film coming out.
Squid Games 2 was announced. That's the last bit. All right, there you go.
Squid Games, more of it coming at you. Movies coming out this weekend. 2 little movies, and of course another juggernaut, a blockbuster hit. The 2 indie films, one of them, Brian and Charles. Actually, I talked about this when the trailer dropped a while back. It's directed by Jim Archer. It is a British indie film that's been kind of making the runs of the circuits about a guy going into depression and building himself a robot friend out of household parts, and it becomes sentient, and it's very Wes Anderson aesthetic, that quirky, it's very Olive Branchy, and if you know what I mean by that, it'll all make sense. But I kind of want to see it. It looks cute. And then Spiderhead from director Joseph Kosinski. It's got Miles Teller and Chris Hemsworth. It's about, in the near future, convicts offered a chance to volunteer as medical subjects to shorten their sentence, and one subject for a new drug capable of generating feelings of love begins questioning the reality of his emotions and his existence. Seems very strange, especially with these two at the lead, but that's coming out. But of course, the big one that's coming out this week, and as Hardy Entertainment on YouTube mentioned, Black Phone is terrific. Saw it last week. He saw an advanced screening of it.
Okay, I was about to say, I didn't realize it had been released, because I just saw a trailer for it.
It is not out yet, but it is coming, and I'm looking forward to that one. But Lightyear comes out this weekend. Chris Evans donning the role of Tim the Toolman Taylor, being Buzz Lightyear, everyone's favorite nostalgic Infinity and Beyond hero. It's the real story about the toy that the toy was based on. And Tim Allen, he's Tim the Toolman Taylor to me, or Santa Claus. I don't know this Allen character. Tim Allen to me is just a guy that sold cocaine when he was younger, but Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh, see, when I was a kid, I saw a stand-up, and that's what made it, where our family watched Home Improvement and everything like that. So. Oh,
you saw his stand? I don't even remember his stand-up, really.
It was good, yeah. I mean, it was Home Improvement.
Oh, it was just like more power.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole the grunting stuff, and that's part of his stand-up routine.
So I mean, this movie looks like a little Space Jam journey. Buzz going into space, commanded by Emperor Zurg, kind of telling the story of the toys. I don't know how I feel about this. Dina over on YouTube says she's kind of excited. Let's see. Sam says he would rather have a Slinky Dog movie using archival Jim Varney dialogue. Well, Sam is a big Jim Varney fan.
Me too, man. I'm part of at least 2 Ernest P. Worrell groups on Facebook. So it's like, you know what I meme?
What do you say, Vern?
You know what I meme, Vern?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
You know what I meme, Vern?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Jim Varney. Got a Jim Varney club here. But Lightyear coming out this week. It's going to make a really interesting weekend at the box office because you're going to have Top Gun, you're going to have Jurassic World Dominion, and Lightyear. All
Paramount, Universal, and Disney.
Just going head to head, just battle for the bucks. And we're going to, see how much money it can get from all of us to see if theaters are truly back. And from last weekend's take, it looks like theaters are back. People are going to the movies. So there you go. That's what's coming out.
Some of them I wish they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Make so many. I had to glare at these people listening to audio on their phone as the movie started last night. And I was like, what are you doing?
Who does that?
Oh, just some dude.
Humans. Well, okay. All right. Let's. I think we need to just get in it, right? Jurassic World Dominion. You want to start? Like, I mean, how do we start the tale of Jurassic Park? 1993.
So, remember when the movie 2022, which you don't even get to hear. You hear the theme like once. For a second, you don't hear any of that.
There's no wonderment left.
There's zero.
That song represents majesty, wonderment, and childlike eyeballs.
Your mom, or one of our viewers doing it, says it sucked. That's how you start. I mean, that is how you could launch this off, but it is definitely a, hey, you remember in the first movie, the movie?
Jurassic Park, 1993.
Yeah, you get the same characters, you get the same outfits, you get the same sets, you get the same settings, you get the same dumb comments. The
movie starts by Dr. Statler, or whatever her name is, going to the archaeological site of a Dr. Grant and asking him to go to this place that he doesn't really want to go.
It starts with them being like, here's dinosaurs, and they hang out in the snow and they bite things. And you're like, whoa, not interesting. And you have really bad CGI horses.
Oh, I forgot how, like, the first part of the scene, the western world of Jurassic Park, where Chris Pratt is, like, galloping on a dinosaur and uses a lasso to somehow wrangle a several-ton galloping beast into submission by using a tree stump and his hands and a rope, and then uses his Crocodile Dundee powers to, like, be friends with this horse dinosaur.
If you're expecting continuity in any form, does not happen in this movie whatsoever. The rope thing is where it starts, because at one point there's this much rope.
This is where the Hornitos comes back.
This much rope sticking out of his hands, right? He's holding on for dear life, and he has this much, literally this pin length, 4 inches of rope, and then all of a sudden he decides to wrap it in this what is it? The Dinglesaurus. No.
Yes, what we're gonna call it. The Dildosaurus, because it's got a big dildo on its head.
No, it has the horn on the back of its head. I know its name. I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are so cool, but they're not cool in this movie. They're not cool in this movie. Paracephalosaurus. But then he wraps it around the stump. All of a sudden, he has 10 feet, and in this dinosaur is just like, oop, got me.
Yeah, we'll be friends now.
Yeah, and it just follows him. He's like, okay, cool, and it's clear that they want this movie to have been viewed in 3D, but 3D's...
No, it is clear...
The gimmick's done, and it looks dumb, and the CG's bad.
It is clear that this movie wanted to immediately flip the goddamn table on every world they've created thus far. Like, this is something that drives me nuts about movies, is...
Paracephalosaurus. There it is. Thanks, fans.
If you're going to create a world, exist by the rules of the world that you create.
Yeah. Okay.
And play in those boundaries.
So, in the last movie, they're like, oh, we can only fit like 20 dinosaurs on this thing, and we're going to auction them off for $10 a piece. We're going to be rich. And then,
the entire island where the rest of the dinosaurs are gets melted with hot lava.
Yeah.
Which, again, everything, when you start talking about Jurassic World movies, it's like they got 250 of the world's dumbest 6th graders as a focus group and gave them crayons and say, write what you think would be rad with dinosaurs on paper.
So each movie, they neglect what they established in the previous movie. In the first Jurassic World, they go, every dinosaur has a chip implanted in it where we can shut them down, control them, make them go somewhere, and have absolute control of the dinosaurs so that accidents don't happen. And they talk about this for like a second. And so the Indominosaurus, whatever the dumbass fucking... Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, whatever the dumbass dinosaur in the first movie was... That was like
the Godzillasaurus.
Yeah, it clawed its chip out and threw the meat at some dude that it ate afterward. Because the dude's like, "What's this chunk of meat with this like tracking device thing?" Oh no, And then in the second movie, they just forget that all the dinosaurs have tracking things. There's so many people who know the back doors of Jurassic Park systems because, so everyone's some sort of computer hack. They can get into the chips in these dinosaurs, but they don't. Instead, they go hunt them and wait for the lava to take out the rest. They could have just herded them onto the ship using the brain chips, but they don't. And so then every dinosaur brought, which is 20, 25 at most, plus the Velociraptor thing that they make.
Oh yeah, the laser Velociraptors.
Yeah, so they all have some sort of computer control built into them, but they escape and they're like, "Well, we're never going to find them." They have built-in tracking. None of them ripped it out like the Whiteosaurus teeth rex.
And that's not even the dumbest thing. The dumbest thing is it's been 4 whole long years since the volcano erupted and we managed to escape with the 30 dinosaurs or so that could fit on this ship and the ones that could maybe fly. And now, 4 years later, the world is completely littered with full-grown ass dinosaurs.
And they act like only one
T-Rex.
Well,
they were like, "Oh, it took us so long to find the one T-Rex." Like, what was he like hiding out in Borneo? Like, it's a fucking T-Rex. Like, And then how in the process of trying to find one T-Rex in 3 years did a herd of Brontosaurus make it to Alaska? Like, and then how were there Triceratopses in Africa? And
so they go, the dinosaurs crossed the borders. It's like, yeah, how did the land dinosaurs make it? It makes no sense. None of it makes sense. And they all breeded. And they act like Blue is the only one that was like, "I'm going to make a baby."
And they're like, "But how?"
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's the only one." There's literally thousands of dinosaurs.
There's dinosaurs in every scene of this movie.
Every city, every country.
A child feeding a dinosaur at a park, and it's
a raptor that could eat its hand, and it's like,
how cute. And they're in Europe, quote unquote European city, because there's a lot of scene changes that make no sense, and in a world dominated by, I don't know, war and bullets and guns and things that we deal with in our schools on a daily basis. Like, there are things, they're like, "What are we going to do about all these dinosaurs that are just eating our kids in the park?" And I don't know, I guess we just don't have enough tranquilizer.
The brain chips from the first one.
Or guns!
Yeah.
Okay, so remember the first movie where the guy was like, "These are dinosaurs, we should shoot them with our bullets because they're dangerous." And they're like, "Nah, bullets."
And the raptor dude was like, "Oh yeah, we shut them down." It's like, yeah.
Where were those guys? Where were the clever girl guys?
Well, that was because in this movie,
dinosaurs make it to America? Like, we would have fixed this with, all of our neighborhood MAGA guys would be like, "Yo, we got these dinosaurs."
Yeah, and especially it's like so many poachers. It's like, how many people does it take to remove 25 dinosaurs with brain chips? That Justice Screamy Boy from the second in this, he could go, "Oh, I know the computer layout. Hold on, guys. Your dinosaurs are done." Yeah. So nothing in this movie makes sense. And all of a sudden they've had time to breed and train these super Veloci things, which I can't remember what the Atrociraptors is what they call them. And they have like big brow ridges like idiots. And they go, "We'll point a laser at them and they'll never forget who the laser was pointed at." Even if they're not around to look at it, they're like, "Laser, that person."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so... there's like 5 guys, and they're pointing these guns at these raptors. Like, what do we do?
And this lady's got a laser pointer.
Yeah, and it's like, you're at an illegal market.
No, they're in a Star Wars cantina of
they're on Tatooine,
black market dinosaur meat.
Malta,
it's
AKA,
like and there's like a dude taking a bite out of a dinosaur leg.
Mohawk. He has the 80s punk look where he's like, "I'm too cool for you, bro. dino meat.
Like, they walk in literally to the set of, like, Shredder's lair, the Foot Clan in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Clever girl
and
guys.
the equivalent guy was like, regular or menthol, like your flavor of dinosaur that you want. And they're like, oh, you're not welcome here. And there's like pit fighting with dinosaurs, and you're like, what fucking world is this? It's only been 4 years. I mean, it's almost been 3 since COVID.
Sam says, so it's a TBS movie to vacuum by. Yeah, exactly. If you've seen Jurassic Park, the first one, all they do is try and Salt Bay that in as hard as they can. But the whole thing with the Atrociraptors, there's like 5 guys, and they're pointing their guns at these 4 raptors. Like, what do we do? I can't figure out what to do.
No one pulls
Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
Like the one guy, the guy
he gets trapped, and the raptor's face is like right here, and he puts his gun away, and he's like, I'll bust out this lock. It's like, bro, cap the raptor.
Shoot the raptor in its eyeball that is right there.
Yeah, he's like,
close
I
range.
can't get away.
What am I gonna do?
My leg's gonna get you.
I'll use this gun to shoot a hole in the roof.
Yeah. Okay. And then the poacher dude has the most impeccable aim ever. He's like, chains, psh, boom, boom. And all of a sudden, 2 cages open, chain split. Here comes the Carnotaurus and like a Baryonyx or whatever. You just have like 2 dinosaurs, and they're like, hey, we're going to bite somebody. And then why are no dinosaurs terrified of fire at all? They're just like, fire, psh, no, we're dinosaurs. They would be absolutely terrified of fire. But then all of a sudden, grasshoppers catch on fire, and dinosaurs are like, oh, I don't like fire all of a sudden.
And why were those grasshoppers so goddamn flammable? Like, I mean, I've tried to light things on fire with less luck that were flammable. And, like, these things are, like, flying around, just, like, on fire for, like, 15 minutes. And the one that gets
they only
in, like,
die when the plot needs it. And then
like,
even the ones that are dead in charcoal, they're like, I'm back.
We're still burning. Or the one that lands in, like, the evil T-Rex's mouth, and it starts being a flamethrower. Like, it becomes a dragon for a minute.
That was after the spear chuck.
God, Jesus.
Because he just launches that spear, and then it's like, and
by the way,
flames.
this was Jeff Goldblum, like launching a spear into a flaming cricket spear into a T-Rex mouth.
Not a T-Rex.
An abominous
Giganotosaurus.
A gigan grab a booty.
Because
crap.
all of a sudden they have Quetzalcoatlus and Giganotosaurus, and they have
Quetzalcoatlus.
Dreadnoughtosaurus. Yeah, we saw 3 of them in the movie.
I mean, is that like a real? I mean, Quetzalcoatl is like an ancient Mexican dragon spirit.
Yeah, it's the largest flying animal to have ever existed. It was like the size of a giraffe, and its wingspan was like dozens of yards.
God, nerd.
Dude, dinosaurs are rad.
But
unlike this
not
movie.
These.
Well, I mean, the dinosaurs were cool. They didn't do anything.
Jeff Goldblum was cool. So, okay, here... Like,
he was just... They're like... He was the myth that Ian Malcolm's become. Like, they try so much to be Jurassic Park because they end up putting Dr. Grant, Ellie, and Dr. Malcolm all in their same outfits.
Yeah,
same outfits. He even undoes his shirt, and he goes, oh, oops. And it's like, oh, throwback, look at that. And they're like, look at the Barbasol can. Oh, it's so cool. Look at Ellie. Ellie Sadler's in her salmon shirt. Dr. Grant's in his same
Remember B.D. Wong?
Outfit.
Remember
Look at
Dodson?
Dr. Grant. He looks just like Dr. Grant. Can't believe it.
Like, he was wearing the same outfit.
They put them in these same outfits. And then they even had them like, look at the new ones and look at the old ones. They're like mirrors.
Here, we're gonna, I've got a Jurassic Park map here from the original Jurassic Park. This was donated by one of our viewers, Logan, and it's like, and so this was the planning phase. Like, here, take Dr. Grant, and this was the, here we go. We're gonna reenact this movie. We're like, it's me, Dr. Grant. I'm back in the movie. Oh man, here's the park I shouldn't be in. I guess there's dinosaurs over here.
Now, hold on.
And I'm 70 years old.
So after... Oh, my hands look so bad. I don't like this. After the 3rd movie, right? Jurassic Park 3, where he's like, there's no way you're ever getting me back anywhere near dinosaurs. I almost died. It was the most awful time. Sorry about your kid. He's done. And they're like, oh, but we'll give you all of the dollars in the world for your research. And they somehow coax him into it. And you have that, like, Alan, like, velociraptor face. How did they, like, Ellie's just like, say there's big bugs and you want to go buy dinosaurs because you think I'm cute from years ago, and he's like, oh yeah, well the fans really shipped us, and it was weird when they saw that you had moved on and we were really just friends, and so now we're gonna have
I'm also 20 years older than you,
a forced love story all of a sudden. So yeah, of course, since I'm super into you, I'll definitely go be around dinosaurs, which is the last thing I want to do. And then he's just like, yeah, thing about raptors is they'll kill you like this. I've been near them 100 times, and it's the worst thing ever. Can't believe I'm here again.
And he's like, oh, Chris Pratt, you're the guy that talks to raptors? All right, we're friends now.
Yeah, and then, of course, they're like, what if the raptor bit Dr. Grant's dick off? And I'm like, why? And then they have